Welcome back, city builders. In today's video, I am diving into a hot topic that's been making waves across the community. And no, it's not about an existing game, but one that is still in development. It is Citystate Metropolis, the new title from indie developer and publisher, and its start is slated for release in the first quarter of 2026. Since the trailer dropped, it is been generating serious buzz across social media. Some fans are even calling it the next big rival to City Skylines 2. So today we are going to break that down. Is this early hype justified, or is it just wishful thinking from a hopeful fanbase? If you are into deep dive analysis like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. There is no denying it. City Skylines has dominated the city building space for years. After the infamous failure of SimCity 5, Paradox swept in and carved out a niche, especially after 2017's Mass Transit DLC. That was the moment many of us started taking City Skylines 1 seriously. But since then, not a single game has truly challenged City Skylines. Fast forward to now, and City Skylines 2 hasn't exactly lived up to all expectations. Yes, it is still evolving, and yes, updates are coming regularly, but the door is clearly open for a real challenger. So, could Citystate Metropolis challenge City Skylines series? Let's break it down with 5 pros and 5 cons. One standout feature of Citystate Metropolis is its focus on political decision-making. Unlike traditional city builders, where you are mainly managing zoning and infrastructure, here you also shape policies, budgets, and laws that directly impact your city-state's development. You are not just the mayor, you are leading an independent political entity. That means dealing with social issues, economic priorities, and public opinion. Decisions like raising taxes or introducing environmental rules have clear consequences, both positive and negative. It is a shift we haven't seen in the City Skylines series, where political depth is almost entirely absent. Here you are building a city that reflects your political values, not just your designing choice. One of the game's strongest points is its detailed economic system directly tied to social outcomes. Build cheaply and quickly and you will boost social mobility. Build sustainably and expensively and you will raise land values and attract investors. The game takes real-world factors like inflation, unemployment, and even gentrification seriously, similar to what happened in parts of Harlem of New York. It all adds a layer of realism that's rare in city builders, while also raising the difficulty in a meaningful way. The third major advantage is the level of creative freedom in construction. Players can control almost every aspect of a building, its height, width, color, shape, even the number of parking spots. It basically feels like the game has a built-in modding tool that lets you design buildings exactly the way you want. This freedom extends beyond buildings too. There are over 40 road types and a full park building system. In today's city builders, that level of customization is still rare. So it is refreshing to see a developer think this far ahead. The fourth point is the dynamic map editor and voter system. In Citystate Metropolis, you can shape the terrain using real locations or randomly generated maps. What's really impressive is how the voter behaves. It actually reacts to changes in elevation. With just a few clicks, you can carve out a river, create a lake, or even controls where forests appear. It is a flexible and intuitive system that adds a lot of realism to the map building process. And finally, one of the biggest attractions, crowd-based simulation that supports up to 1 million residents per city. Even more impressive, this runs on fairly moderate system requirements, a big advantage over City Skylines 2, which often struggles even on high-end PCs. The storage size is also surprisingly small, just 10 GB compared to City Skylines 2's massive 60 GB. Now let's look at the cons. The first problem is that the game is practically developed by a single person. This is a respectable achievement in itself, but a serious risk for the future. In terms of bug fixes, new features, and long-term support, this is a serious disadvantage. Of course, there are basically successful one-person projects, such as Manor Lords or the originally single-player Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. However, there is a real danger that the initial enthusiasm will wear off or the developer will jump to another project. In this case, support for the game may also be interrupted, just as we saw with the developer's previous game, Citystate 2. Another downside is the game's financial system. While it is impressively deep, it can also be quite punishing. Just one bad decision can send your entire city spiraling into bankruptcy. I have tried Citystate 2 several times myself, and honestly, I struggled figuring out how to balance income and expenses wasn't always intuitive. For many players, this kind of frustration might outweigh the fun of the challenge, especially for a more casual city builder audience. If you enjoy designing detailed transport networks, this might be a downside. Citystate Metropolis will include buses, trains, and later a metro, but based on what we know so far, the system will be quite simplified. Unlike City Skylines, you likely won't be planning routes in detail or customizing how your lines operate. And as of now, there are no plans to add trams, trolleys, ferries, or other systems that many city builders fans love. For players who see public transport as the backbone of a realistic city, this could feel like a missed opportunity. One of the biggest strengths of City Skylines was its modding scheme. It kept the game alive for years and added tons of content that went way beyond the base game. In comparison, it is still unclear how deep or user-friendly modding will be in Citystate Metropolis. The developer has mentioned some expanded mod support, but we haven't seen much detail yet. And let's be honest, a strong community is just as important as the game itself. Right now, the Citystate fanbase is still small, and unless things change, it might be hard to build up a big active workshop like City Skylines has. That means the long-term replayability and second life of the game are still the big question mark. Now for the last and maybe the most important concern, the uncertain future of the game. Citystate Metropolis is already the developer's third city builder since 2018. The previous title, Citystate 2, launched in 2021 and received updates for about a year, but after December 2022, support just stopped. The project was quietly shelved and the community was left hanging. We still don't know why, but it is understandable that many players are cautious. What if the same thing happens again? As much as I want to stay optimistic, I wouldn't be too surprised if 2 or 3 years from now we are watching a trailer for Citystate 3 while Citystate Metropolis slowly fades into the background. Let's see the conclusion. Citystate Metropolis clearly brings some bold new ideas to the city building genre, from political decision making and a socially driven economy to huge creative freedom and dynamic map editing. But the limitations of these games are just as obvious. Solo development, harsh financial mechanics, limited transport options, unclear mod support, and an uncertain future. So here is my conclusion. Citystate Metropolis is a bold and promising project, but it is not going to dethrone City Skylines series. That said, I am still interested. I have already added it to my wishlist on Steam, but I believe the real challenger is still out there waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting or sharing it. It really helps the channel. I will be back soon with another City Skylines video. Until then, take care and enjoy building your dream city.